What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I bring you news for Romancing SaGa Universe. We just got the announcement of two different banners, all related to Romancing SaGa 3, 4 characters in one banner, 4 characters in another, all protagonists. So, we're gonna talk about Romancing Festival Katarina in this video and the other banner in the other video. We will go straight to Reddit in a post by Hands43. Thank you so much for this amazing job. He made all the comparisons to the JP version and global so that we can discuss how much better they are now that they are buffed. Katarina got a buff to her STR so she has more damage, also to her agility that was extremely important so that she can buff before the enemy attacks and even a little more will. Moving on, she gets 2 BP on turn begin, so she is a 5 BP per turn character at least. She will also give this attack boost to everyone by 15% increase in damage and also trigger a heat up medium so that each turn everyone gets 10% increase in damage for the whole fight. This is to everyone. She then has another one for herself, meaning that she will reach 100% damage increase to herself and give 50% to everyone. Align that attack boost for 115 for herself. And then she has another 30% increase to reach 145%, and then 160 because she gives another 15 to everyone. So that's a lot for a character that was not really meant to be a damage dealer. She then decreases damage taken for everyone, including herself, by 25% passively, and then she decreases to herself by 30%. That's amazing. Moving on, she has 2 very incredible passives. The first one is called Weakness Defense. When your characters in the party use a weak attack, that is, hitting the weaknesses of the enemy. Not all enemies will have weaknesses, but 95% of them. This can trigger 2 times per turn, and it will grant you a defense boost medium that will decrease damage taken by 25% for that character specifically. And this character will also buff on endurance and will by 20% as well, reaching as much as 40%, but this character needs to have at least 1 chase attack in order to trigger this much, and will also recover HP by a very small effect that will be at least around 302 times if the character has a chase attack. So that's very nice. It won't happen all the time, but if you are using the right units alongside Katarina, she will improve their damage efficiency and even defenses a lot. Why the damage? Because she also has offensive resist, and this case is strange because when you resist an attack by the enemy, that is, if you have plus 35 resistance to that particular element, your character will then get an attack boost that increases damage potential by 20% up to 2 times, and it lasts for 2 turns, meaning that you have at least 40%. If you attack after the enemy and you are on the second turn, you can get as much as 80% alongside everything else that you already have from this character, and will also buff STR Dexterity and Intelligence by 20%. Can trigger 2 times and can also get 1 BP. That's way too much stuff, right? You can get up to 2 BP when you are hit and resist. So she has a little bit of everything: healing, status buff, defense boost, and even BP generation. You need to use the right characters, you need to use the right equipment, but doesn't matter. She is amazing and gives a little bit of everything to everyone. Also, when she attacks, she always changes with Moulin Rouge Plus. That is a double S power slash and pierce attack. But for skills, we have a free E-power single target attack that grants a guard up small, decreasing damage taken by 12% to all allies. Only for that turn, so she needs to be fast in order to apply this before the enemy attacks. But it's free, so you can use it when you don't have BP. And just remember that she has slash and cold elements, and if you want to land a weak attack, you'll be using her on enemies weak to bolt, or any. And then the second skill is a slash and pierce attack. You see that she lost the cold part and got a peace part, and it's a 3-hit attack that recovers HP by very small. So you'll be healing for close to 900, but just to herself for 10 BP it's too much. It's a very bad skill, you should not be using it. Then the third is also 10 BP, but this time it has slash and cold again. It's just E-power. This Katarina is not really meant for damage, and she attacks randomly, so Every time you get a defense boost of small effect, decreasing damage taken by 15% for everyone. It lasts for 2 turns, so you can get 2 or 3 stacks. Considering that she gets a lot of defense boosts if she's landing weak attacks alongside all the other characters in the party, she can get extremely defensive and give a lot of defenses to everyone. Even if she's not doing that much damage, remember that she still chases with Moulin Rouge, and Moulin Rouge is actually very okay, close to triple S power. And Moulin Rouge's slash and pierce. So you can see that if you are using this attack, you will trigger a lot of her effects if the enemy is weak to slash and cold. But you can still cover slash and pierce, so 3 elemental coverage. Well, Katarina is one of the best characters in the game right now. Deserves a 5 out of 5 OP grade. Doesn't matter, she is a must-have and really worth pulling for. Moving on for Khalid, we have 123% STR, then 92% endurance and 92% will. So you can see that they buffed it so that he becomes a better counter. He can counter pretty well with 1 inheritance. There is also 112% agility. So he is fast because he can also debuff the defense of the enemy. He starts with Sword Finesse, 30% damage increase and 30% damage reduction, alongside another 30% damage increase for a total of 60%. Starts the fight with 13 BP, and when attacking, will always chases with Demilune Echo, an S power attack, but also has a 50% chance to chase with Storm Lightning Flash. That is a 3-hit attack that has deep power. Both skills have both Slash and Lightning damage. That's super important because he will decrease the defenses of the enemies for both elements. When the attack lands, there is a 50% chance to also grant yourself a lightning lock for 3 times. When you are attacking with a lightning attack, you would then grant a 5% attack boost for everyone for 2 turns. The effect has no turn limit, and then you grant yourself a defense boost that decreases damage taken by 15%, lasts for 2 turns, can stack, and will also recover. So you will not have this all the time, but you can trigger, and when you trigger this, you have lots of added effects. And that's because, look, skill number 1, you can use for 1 BP a deep power attack with Slash and Lightning that will grant defense down to 2 different elements, Slash and Lightning. So you can increase damage for the whole party by just using this skill. And you want to switch into the skill number 3 that uses 13 BP, a 4S power attack, Slash and Lightning again, that will grant the weakness to lightning and defense on the enemy, decreasing their defenses by 25%. As you can see here, when they are attacked by lightning attacks, they will lose 25% defense. This stacks infinitively, just like Thunder effects. Each new hit decreases the defense, and Khalid is a multi-hitter, and in the future, you will have a full lightning and slash damage dealer version of Kihachi, and she will pair up with Khalid to solo some content easily, because she will also probably apply defense down herself. So this is used, then you have the 4S attack, and then you have a guaranteed chase, a chance to chase another 3 times. Damage can stack pretty well, but there is some RNG to it. Or you can use skill number 2 that has 9 BP cost, and before attacking grants this lightning lock to our allies, and then he attacks. But that's only if you have a full party of lightning damage dealers, because this will allow them to trigger all of the effects of the second passive to themselves as well, alongside giving attack boost to everyone. But if you don't have a full lightning squad, you are better off just using skill 3 and cycle skill 1. Khalid can also be used as a counter unit if you have his Valentine style, where he has a 9 BP cost attack that has triple S power, where he enters an evasive stance and counters with a very strong attack as well. Or you can get one from his Platinum style that is not as strong but can help as well. But he's mostly a slash and lightning damage dealer with high potential, and I believe he deserves a 4 out of 5 now, but will easily be demoted as we go further. So I believe that his value is not as high as it could have been. So a 3.5 is okay. Moving on, we have Mikhail, and Mikhail has status for a farmer. 123% dexterity, 110% agility, nothing else matters, I swear. Because he starts the fight with 20 BP, and when kills a target, he gets another 10. He will then have a 20% increase to weak damage, and also has a fast stance, meaning that you can use him on the rearguard focus formation for even higher damage. Then we have a 40% increase in damage via attack boost, and then another 50% to weak damage. So 90% just from here, and another 20 for a max of 110% damage increase. And you have 2 different cycles. Skill number 2, it's 13 BP for single target, attacks 5 times with piercing stun damage. You are going to kill 1 enemy on a free quest and then proceed on a second wave to kill the second so that he can solo. Or you have the second option where you have this C-Power AoE piercing stun attack that attacks randomly between 2 to 3 times, exactly like Merlot Syra. We will do a little more damage than Merlot Syra, and we don't have that gimmick where every new hit does less damage. Sometimes you can even record Mikhail attacking enemies that are neutral, and if he lands 3 times, you are going to have a character that can nuke those situations, and that increases his value even further. As a farmer, a 5 out of 5. As another type of utility character, just 1 out of 5. You're not gonna use this character anywhere else. He doesn't even have a damage reduction passive. Moving on, there is Monika as word. She is a support unit, and we have at least 91% will, but just 75% endurance, a little fragile. 115% dexterity and 110% agility are nice, and the agility is even more important because she has S's word intrinsic, increasing damage potential by 20%, but reducing resisted damage by 40% and having 37% chance to evade resisted attacks. She starts the fight with 1 fast stance, meaning that she will always go before the enemy, no matter where she is in the formation, even on the rear guard focus formation. And then, when she attacks, she always chooses with Bloom Rain. That is an SS power attack that has both stun and pierce damage, and also heals very small. She will be healing for 300, and also buffs dexterity and charisma. She will be doing this every turn, 15% buff. Then, by the end of a turn, she gets 2 BP, so she's a 5 BP per turn character, and has a 50% chance to triggering a passive that will give her the fast stance again. This is important because of her skill number 3. And there is also a 50% chance to recover the usage of the skill number 2. Then, she also has a lot of different effects from her passive number 2. When she is attacking, she grants a 10% attack boost, and decreasing damage taken by 10%, but both effects are only for that turn. She also grants a decrease in BP cost by 1 point for all other allies other than self. Because she already attacked, so there's no way to decrease the BP cost. But, okay, she has very high agility, 110%. She will usually go first. And if she's using it in other parties that people self-buff when attacking, like Matriarch, she will also be increasing her agility even further. But then there's something very interesting. She has the fast stance, right? And when you are using skill number 3, she would then, if on under fast stance, grant self passive number 2, 3 turns, then attack. Okay, now we are getting to something interesting. The power of the attack is 8. Forget about damage. She will then decrease the BP cost of everyone else's by 2 BP. On start, right? And then give 2 stacks of defense boosts, 2 decreases of 10%, and 2 attack boosts. So, right after, she chases with Bloom Rain, right? So we're going to stack actually 4 times all of this. 4 times BP cost reduction. If she's the first, she will only clash with other fast attackers. She will decrease the BP cost so much that it will sometimes change a secondary character entirely, so that you can keep using the best skills, like imagine Khalid. Well, but also imagine some other people that has BP problems. The only problem is that she does not get as much BP herself. She only has 5 BP per turn, so she also needs someone else to give her BP. She's very, very useful in squads that have Hardy. The problem is that squads that have Hardy already have enough VP. So maybe in situations when you need to fight a boss that increases your VP cost, somehow they will not clash as much. But she also works with Ray, with Candy, and even with Aspergal when they are generating VP. And the thing is, you can still use skill number 3 again on the second turn and then have, actually this time, 6 times the effects. That's right. But you will not have enough BP. What you get is a total of 15 by turn 2. She will need 16 in order to use this 2 times in a row. That's where I say she needs help. If you are using Liz, for example, she can already use this 2 times. Okay, but after turn 1, what can you do? You are not under a fast stance anymore, unless you triggered her passive that allows her to become fast again. You can use her on a Godspeed stance formation to just lock her into a fast stance if you want, but that formation is not really that useful for boss fights. But what you can do is, if she is not on fast, you can use either a normal attack or her skill number 1 that buffs dexterity. She is fast enough that she will usually still help people around, and she still chases, and you still have the effects from usage of skill number 3. It's just not fast, so sometimes other characters will attack before her and not take the benefit. But you use her skill number 3 again exactly when you see that she got that stance of first attack. And if you feel like you need, you can also use her skill number 2 after having many bad turns. It's a fast once per battle skill that gives a self attack boost that increases damage potential by 50% for 5 turns. She will do more damage later. But the important part is that it decreases BP cost by 5 to all allies other than self. But she already does that by attacking, and attacking is always better than just using support since you are contributing to damage and to many other passes that may trigger. So this is only really useful if you are having bad turns, I believe, and you are kind of sick of waiting for the stance of first attack to trigger, and you can use this. Every turn you also have a 50% chance to recover the usage of skill number 2. I believe you can only have 1 stack, so after you use you can get it back. At least you always have 5 AP to use this skill if you so want, but then she becomes full support and many of her effects are gone. So try to make her a damage dealer and try to use skill 3 as much as possible. Okay, Monika is useful, but she relies on RNG and also relies on party composition. Overall, I'm still undecided if she deserves a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5 in my new grading system. Please send feedback on both Monika and Khalid before I make my full review. Nonetheless, all units here have some type of utility. I know that people will not be using Mikhail if they already have Merlotsara, but he replaces and he also deals some damage. It can be helpful, but he has 0 utility outside farming. But Katarina is just so good that she impacts the game just like Alkaiser did. And she's a very useful unit, and even when she gets replaced, she has skills and passives that cannot clash. They can still stack. So this banner will receive a gold award because we have 4 styles instead of just 3, and Katarina is a must-have. Well, this is my first impressions. What are yours? Please say here in the comment sections if you agree or not. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and if you want to support the channel, we have links on the description of the video. Hope to see you soon in the next one. Goodbye.